What's happening, YouTube? It's your homie S.Akuma coming back to you with another video. And today's deck profile is all about the first place GenCon 2019 winner, Mr.
Kevin Allen.
All right, nice to meet you, Kevin.
You too.
All right, how do you feel right now?
Still a little in shock, honestly. It's starting to sink in.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, starting to get thrilled.
Okay, well, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So in terms of preparation for this weekend, what did you do in terms of preparation to come here this weekend and play?
Mostly, this is a deck I've used for a while. It hasn't really shown up big on the meta, but I love playing it. There's a lot of decision points. It's an interesting deck. It's not just an autopilot by any means, and I love that. I love the depth of playing in those decisions.
Complexity.
Throughout.
Good.
Yes.
Sounds good. Okay, cool. And with that, let's just go right down here and see exactly what you played. Looks like you have 4 wide cars.
Yes.
And a very nice trophy that you have. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
You are the Siege 1 GenCon Open champion.
I am.
Congratulations.
Thanof you.
Okay, so in terms of your characters here, it looks like we have 4 wide, well, just about 4 wide cars, and of course one other character. You want to explain them then?
Yes, so Cliffjumper is kind of, honestly, sort of the key to the deck.
Okay.
Being 4 wide, but his card draw, especially with 2 other cars that you can protect and flip, really accelerates your card draw, gives you a lot of options and a lot of choices to work with. The starter box Red Alert is in there for his stats. We've got a lot of questions on him this weekend, a lot of people who were shocked that you run him, but you need the stars to keep the 4 wide, and at that point cost, at that star cost, there's nobody else who can hit as hard and is as beefy and tough on the defense.
I gotta stop you for a second. You just won an event with a character with no text.
Yes, I did. and I shocked everyone all weekend.
I bet. So he trades his 2 defense for 5 in total attack on his on his bot mode, right?
Yes.
Okay. Very nice. And ranged in both modes is something to note as well.
Yep. I don't actually leverage that with anything.
Okay. No marksmanship or anything.
Nope,
Okay. But
nope.
okay. Cool.
So Arcee is there primarily to do what Arcee does. High Pierce, she's there to deal in case I run up against blue decks.
Right.
But honestly, you know, to attack is still nothing to completely sneeze at. Especially in aggro matchups, I found that it worked really well to just leave her in.
On that side, and I saw you do that in the finals. Yes, definitely. Because the Pierce, it didn't
Yes, and you know, when you need the Pierce is there. But a lot of times I was better off with the extra 2 attack.
Now, what about our heal effect? Did you ever heal your entire team at any point? You never worried about it?
They never live long enough. And especially for it to be spread.
Right.
The flip density on this is the term I've seen used, is very high. There's always something. I'm either flipping a card to draw a card. I'm flipping Prowl to get the extra bold. I actually even found, you know, Cliffjumper's other side gives you a +1 attack for every other car in your scrap in your KO area.
Right.
I almost never used it because by the time something dies, my cards very rarely attack in car mode, so they rarely die in car mode, and that also limits the heals that you get off Prowl, although I did pull that off a couple of times. But by the time they die, I'm having to flip them into KO, I'm having to get Cliffjumper flipped, and so it rarely becomes an opportunity.
So in hindsight, if they do ever happen to live longer than usual, then you have that bonus of possibly using that effect later in the game.
Correct.
You know,
And if I can do it, if I can manage the flow to where, you know, Red Alert especially will die as a car, I get the heal off of Prowl. Cliffjumper has that option for a late game clutch, and I actually did use that once.
Yes, and I noticed that. I thought that, I guess I've been so brainwashed to seeing Hot Wheels, you know, the Prowl, Wheeljack, and LTB, that I thought that a car had to die in order for you to, or excuse me, not a car had to die, you could only heal a car, but you can heal anybody. I didn't realize that. I didn't read Prowl's effective correctly, so very nice.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, well, with that, you want to jump right into the battle cards?
Sure.
Okay. I think we'll dwindle this down a little bit.
All right, so starting off, nothing terribly unusual about Peace Through Tyranny in an aggro deck. It's there mostly for the pips, but you know the effect also has moments when it comes in pretty clutch.
Yes.
You know, there was once in the semis and once in the finals where a Peace Through Tyranny on Red Alert let me double kill, especially against Insecticons. That was really huge.
And you have 3 targets or 2 targets? You should have 3 targets, right? Arcee cannot be.
Arcee cannot be. Theoretically, all of the others can. I actually did use it once on Cliffjumper. He was down to like 1 health. I was able to Peace Through Tyranny him and get the KO effect off Prowl to heal one of my other characters at the same time.
Very nice.
So a really nice combo there. Like I said, doesn't come up often. It's usually I will prefer to make them draw in the extra attack rather than take the extra turn. But there are moments if I can kill something and expose their entire team early, which is what I did against the Insecticons, it can be big.
Okay, very nice.
All right. No real shock for a car deck. The one blue in the deck is start your engines. Pretty standard for cars. You get the untap, which is huge and key to the deck. It's not only wide, but you get all of those untaps, and you know, effectively, I will be a 6 or 7 wide deck. You get the untaps, you spread the damage, you get more attacks. It leads to really big wheel turns.
Understood.
So again, nothing terribly shocking for an aggro deck with Reckless Charge. I like it. It's extra damage. It's great for Arcee. Obviously, if you need to pierce. I also like it a lot with Red Alert because the 3 damage. Honestly, if I'm attacking with a car, Red Alert's probably going to die anyway with that 0 defense. So it doesn't really matter, and it's free damage.
Okay.
So again, nothing really shocking for an orange bold deck, but the triple supercharge, yeah, it's pretty standard.
Yeah, definitely.
The one that I surprised a lot of people with this weekend, I actually run 3 heated battles in my main deck.
Nice.
I got a lot of questions about it. It's in there because I figure it has about an 80% useful rate. Obviously, if I'm facing another aggro deck, it's just another supercharge.
Right.
If I can get it on the wheel turn, that is huge, giving 2 or even 3 characters the triple bold.
Right.
That's a really big deal. And it's there even if I'm against a blue deck. A lot of people will choose not to run it; they'll sideboard it. But with Arcee in there, it's a supercharge for Arcee, and she just says, "Oh, I gave you tough. Who cares?"
Right. Definitely.
So
What
Arcee
also
does
is
what she
cool
does.
about that is you're playing against any 3 wide orange deck, you can potentially have them go first. So you know, with the math, you had at least 2 characters that can attack them. But even 3, if you have an untap effect like Turbo Booster or whatever, you get 3 attacks with the heated battle.
And I did that more than once this week.
I bet, definitely.
So confidence, nothing terribly shocking with this either. I run it because things like the start your engines is so critical to the deck. Even with all the card draw I get from Cliffjumper, having a little extra dig is always good. Also lets you fish for turbo boosters, whatever. It's easy to get tunnel visioned on the fact that it lets you play another action, but it still can dig for an upgrade. You follow with the turbo boosters or a grenade launcher.
Okay.
I confidenced into a grenade launcher more than once in the finals and semis.
Very nice. Strong. And then you don't really lose that much. It is a minus, but the Cliffjumper kind of helped offset that.
Correct. Yes, my hand is normally full enough that I can afford to drop a couple. I rolled 2 copies of Rollout. The extra little blue has saved character on more than one occasion, and it's in there primarily to get the flips for Prowl, maybe the heal for Arcee, although that rarely comes up. But in all honesty, I will prefer to dig for a start your engines or turbo boosters. So this, or just take the raw damage. So this doesn't tend to get used. It's actually one of my first targets when I sideboard anything out. I do run a pair of ramming speeds. I find that the universal removal can be a pretty big deal. It's great against Battle Masters, it's great against force fields, and I never ran into one this weekend, but a Gyro Blaster scares me. It turns off a lot of my deck, and so having something universal I think is well worth it. And again, this makes a good target for confidence to dig into. And again, at least one game through the course of the week, I confidenced into a ramming speed that let me kill a force field and literally won me the game.
Nice, very nice.
All right.
There's another interesting one.
Yes, so I run a couple of bolsters. It is definitely a limited sort of a combo card, but it arguably won me the finals. Bolstering into a force field, there's very little they can do about it. It certainly, bashing shields are there, but you bolster it, it's past that phase, and there's not much they can do about it.
Right.
And I find that people will still put big hits in. Even if they know it's coming, that they will still swing big. I was kind of surprised that happened in the finals. A lot of times I will choose to softball things like that, but people just kept throwing into it. And again, there was more than one occasion where the bolster force field combo literally won me matches.
Nice.
And speaking of, nothing terribly shocking. 3 force fields. I still run these. I know a lot of people think armor is dead because of bashing shields. I use them to pair with the bolster, and I also like the fact that even if I know you have a bashing shield, I will play it if I don't have anything bigger or better in my hand, because it'll force you to use your upgrade for the turn on that bashing shield. It means it's not a grenade launcher, it's not a power punch, and even this has kept me alive even when it has been discarded by a bashing shield.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right, again, nothing terribly shocking. Moving through the upgrades, grenade launchers, pretty standard, not much to say there. Also, power punch, again, pretty standard for any kind of a bolt themed aggro deck.
So I see why you don't like W5 Gyro Blaster, because you have a lot of bolts.
Correct, which is the way you get big numbers. I do have some options for straight damage, just in case those come up. I run 2 mining picks. I actually just teched these in last night. Partially to deal with the Gyro Blaster, but I also ran into a fair amount of Acid Storm in the qualifiers, and so that's there and can be a big hit. And with Cliffjumper to constantly refill my hand, you can keep feeding it, and so it's not just a single turn. I actually don't generally like them. I find, you know, a Supercharge or a Power Punch, or a Power Punch in the upgrade slot is going to be a better play, because, you know, if you're playing aggro, most of your characters won't survive to a second attack anyway.
Very true. So with that being said, do you think Erratic Lightning might be a good replacement?
I've actually thought about that. And
just putting it on red alert, he'll be 8 with 0 defense already. Nice.
Yeah, it's, you know, I go back and forth on that. I didn't have it in today, but it is definitely a decent option. You know, I find, my first match was against Joe from Wreck and Rule in the qualifier. He left characters at 1 health 4 times through the course of our match. Wow. Throw Erratic Lightning on, that's dead character. Right. And so I don't like it if I can avoid it, because I honestly, and I did it, I believe, once in the finals where the Erratic Lightning got it, it helped me. You know, I tend to think it's not worth it. Okay. So, 2 Bashing Shields, pretty standard. I actually had one, I was finding it was a little light to deal with. With force fields, and so I bumped to the 2 there. But again, pretty standard. And then finally, turbo boosters. Again, nothing shocking for a cars deck. Get you the untaps, a little extra damage, always going to be a good thing.
More attacks is a great thing.
Yep. All right, and then for the side deck,
that's 40 cards.
That's 40 cards. Okay. Dead on. For the side deck, I run 3 copies of Scrapper Gauntlet because Battle Masters are such a big thing. I actually managed to tech into a force field against a Battle Master on a big swing. I have dreams about, you know, someone dumping all of their cards to Fire Drive or Piece of Tyranny into Lionizer and bolster into a Scrapper Gauntlet. So I will say,
nice counter.
It's not a combo that ever went off for me this weekend, but that's the idea with those being there.
So with the bolsters, do you play 3 force field, 3 Scrapper Gauntlets post side decking?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So you definitely want to have the option. All around.
Yep. And because it's a combo, I still only run the 2 bolsters. I don't side deck anymore. But having 6 potential targets for it can be a really big deal.
Right.
I run 2 Press the Advantage. I actually never used it through the weekend. Yes, I don't think you need it against bugs because their defense is too low anyway, and I have better actions to get the damage boost. Almost every action I run will give me more than the +2 I get out of this. So I tech it mainly in case I come up against a nemesis or, you know, some kind of a defensive Decepticon deck.
Right. Okay.
I run 2 Espionage, primarily to deal with the inevitable Piece of Tyrannies.
Yes.
But I actually found I didn't use it all that much. It was in there as a precaution, but I actually found that the very wide deck and the untaps, man, even when I got hit with it, I managed to weather it. Okay. And so, you know, with the main deck handling it, I didn't need to take the card slots for the Espionage.
That's good. Okay.
And then last but not least, one of my losses in the qualifiers was to Insecticons, which I absolutely hate. And so I swapped in the very appropriately named Squash Them Like Bugs, which I made a great use of in the semifinals. Basically suckering him into thinking his Scrapnel was safe. Killed another character with this that finished off Scrapnel.
That was very nice. I could have sworn WTC said that it wasn't intended for the card to be like against Insecticons, but they made it because the name sounds so fitting.
Yes.
But on the contrary, it actually is very good.
And it is very good.
Yep.
Yes. And I also ran it. I never faced one, but I ran it in case I came in up against an Aerial Bot's Superion deck. It's great there as well.
I think it takes the place of a Photon Bomb because Photon Bomb does too, but you don't do any damage to yourself, and that Arm Hovercraft is always still great.
Agreed.
Like Optimus Prime Battlefield Legend can use it. If you draw it, you can play it that turn, and then Optimus can get it back. That's Photon Bomb, just on their side. Or Erratic, I guess you could say Erratic Energy Grenade.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yes, and the the with my deck being this wide, the number of targets is limited, which is the main reason I sideboard it. But against anyone that it's worth using against, Cliffjumper, even Prowl can very
Sometimes.
frequently
Very true.
get some.
Yeah, you know what? I guess Prowl is relevant against like aerial bots or like
Yes.
any other 5.
Yep, very
Okay.
true. And Red Alert as well.
Oh yeah, very true.
Yes.
So you have a couple.
Yeah, so against insects, it's pretty much going to be Cliffjumper, which is the one I pulled it off with today. But against any of the combiners, typical 5 stars, I've got 3 out of 4 characters you can make good use
Very
of.
nice find. One of my favorite cards in the set. Okay, and then last but not least, did you side deck a character?
I did not, actually. I actually got a lot of questioning over the weekend when people saw I was running the starter Red Alert, because
I thought he was waiting for Red Alert too.
everyone was astonished that I was running a blank character from the starter box. But when you really look at it, try and keep it that 6-star mark so I can stay 4 wide. There are no better choices. And same thing with Arcee. Even if I'm not being able to use her against a blue deck, there are no better choices at 5 stars to swap into the deck.
Understood. Okay. Well, Mr. Allen, with that, let me shake your hand. Congratulations on winning the event.
Thank you.
Now, you will be in the John Invitation?
I
Make
will
some
be.
room? Okay.
Assuming
Sounds
I
good.
can talk my wife into it.
Okay.
But
sounds good.
I'm planning
Well,
on
good
it.
luck with that. All right, congratulations again. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That's Donna Kuma heading out. Peace.